And we are live. Okay, I'm going to share the link around and get started. I have to change the title of the stream too. Okay.
Off. There are no untrained.
Sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. I think another tab opened and ad started playing. Okay. So I'm going to send the link out and then I'm going to get started here. Okay. So you might notice my texture streaming pool is above its budget and the textures aren't coming through, and it's just because this scene is a pretty big scene that my pretty small 4 gigabytes of memory on my GPU I don't think can handle well. There might be some settings I need to look into too, but for this stream I'm just going to worry about the placement of objects mostly, and by the next stream I should have a new GPU, an RX 6700 XT from AMD, and that should help with some of the issues here. But we have the tree that we made over the course of the last 2 live streams, and I just want to extend this whole area back this way and populate it with trees. This live stream and maybe work on the shore on this side of what's going to be the river right here, so that we can get the river in and finish things up in the next live stream. I don't want this series to go on for too long, as I want to eventually move on to doing other things. A more of a level design series or live stream series at some point might be something fun to do. Is this is really just an environment. The camera is supposed to be somewhere right around here, and so uh, I'm not really thinking about how a player is going to be moving or walking around. And as we get further away from the camera here, I'm going to worry less and less about everything being super nice and neat. Example of that is right here. I don't, I don't think we really need to focus a whole lot on exactly how these are lining up, because no one's going to be looking very closely at them. At this point, really, I think I can just raise this up and try to sort of block that out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the camera right around where it's going to be at. Probably right here. Just going to duplicate this tree. And start placing and scaling it around. Make this one a bit smaller. Duplicate it again. Take it back a bit. I want to bring it up because we want the train, this is a train that's sloping upwards. We're going to slope upwards. And this one can get scaled up a bit maybe a bit bigger. Gonna duplicate it again. So we bring it over. This one maybe is a bit lower, a bit smaller, a bit further back. Maybe this one is a bit lower as well. I want to get more of a bird's eye view. Now I think we could definitely use a bigger tree here. Maybe the biggest one of all. Yes, I'm liking that. Now I'm going to duplicate this cliff face. Bring it up. I'll get rid of this one. These two actually. I'm going to bring this back behind all the trees. And we don't need the second one here. I'm just going to duplicate the same one. Bring it over. Do the exact same thing again. Up and over. Take it down a bit on this one. That. And they're repeated, but you can't really see that much from the viewpoint here. I'm just gonna rotate this one, bring it over. Like that. Now I think if we take, oops, I duplicated the wrong object. If I grab one of the trees, duplicate it, bring it up, sort of sit up there. And I'm going to continue to duplicate this around. I'll worry about scaling it afterward. Now if just grab all these, duplicate, rotate this around. Move it right there. Gonna get some random trees and scale them down to 1. Get one like this. I'm gonna scale it up more. This one I'm gonna scale it up more. This one I'm gonna scale up more. So I'm gonna scale down a bit, duplicate, bring another. And now, oops. Okay. Some of these are definitely not touching the ground. So let's lower them. And I think this side is looking pretty good. You can see that there's only one layer of trees here going in this direction. And so that's not good. So I'm going to duplicate a bunch of these. And I'm just going to move them not that way. Just going to move them straight back like that. Duplicate them again. Duplicate. Rotate them. Just sort of move them around. How does that look? Better, I think. I just need some of these to be larger. That. Maybe this one to get duplicated and really shrunk down right there. Now bring our camera back. And the river is curving this way. We want it to curve around through this way. I think this should be rotated some. Maybe this shouldn't even be here right there. Yeah, I like that better. And since the terrain is getting higher, the further that way we go, the river is going to be coming downriver. It's going to be sloping down towards the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I wish there was some sort of paint select mode where I can just select a bunch of stuff all together here. but I'm gonna have to click around and mass duplicate all of this, or at least some of it. I think that should be good. So if I duplicate this, I'm gonna move it locally. Duplicate this. Set it over here. Maybe rotate it all the way around like that. Almost have this entire side of the beach as far as it'll go, as far as I'm taking it in this environment. Almost. It's gonna bend around here. I want to make sure it's still angled up. It's flowing down to where we're not, where we're at, not up from where we're at. Like that. It's gonna be pulled in, rotate it a little. And if we put our camera in position, which I think is gonna, one thing out the more, sort of like this here, or maybe still this here. We're gonna still have to take this further. So I'm gonna duplicate this entire long section. That's a very steep incline for a river. Very steep. Lower that down. That's better. I'm just going to continue and duplicate this section. Now, I'm going to take a tree, duplicate it, bring it over here. Raise it up. Scale this one down. Get one more here. Scale up more than the others. Another one here, and it'll be scaled up the most. And so it's just more trees off in the corner in the frame. This still feels a bit empty, so I'll need to come back and put more trees back behind those. So I guess that's not gonna be in the frame. Put the camera right on the river. Then I think we're good. Just to continue with rocks, build out this shore. We'll need trees going along this way. So copy all of these, duplicate them, bring them over here, rotate them, get back into the right camera position, and move them around. Rotate a little bit, maybe. Yeah, I like that. We'll bring this, but they're not, they're pretty far from the spot here. So let's do a bigger one here. Let's do a smaller one here. That. We need more size variation, and I think taking this tree, making it real big, will do the trick. Mm-hmm. Now we have a very empty space here that we need to fill. And now you don't just want to see the horizon. Past these trees, this sort of big cliff wall needs to continue. So I'm going to duplicate it, not take it way over there, duplicate it, bring it around, rotate it, bring it up to right there. Flatten it off a bit, also still raise it up. Get more trees. That. And I feel like this is really starting to come together. Let's play with the sun position now that we have our trees. Ooh, maybe something like that. Something that's more like it's at dusk. And hi, Ulrich. I'm not sure how long that message of yours has been there. I'm in a bad habit of not looking. I've made it a habit to look over at the chat, which is something I'm trying to work on. I think I'll leave it like that, or maybe I'll raise it up a bit more, like that. I'll leave it like that for now. And if I go over to Unlit, I really wish we had the high resolution texture streaming in. I'll have that fixed by next stream. Uh, okay, 2 minutes. Not too bad. Let's see. If I find my directional light, go over to my details, I'll change my intensity down to something lower. Now if I get my skylight, I'm going to change my intensity to something higher. And I'm just going to go back. I'm going to try to go for something overcast. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I just want to test something. I'm going to simulate. No, it's actually play for it to give me. So it's playing simulate. There we go. So some rocks aren't using nanite. Most of everything we can use it is though, and this is what I want to look at. Material complexity. Specifically with the trees, so I think we're doing alright. And if we go over to nanite visualization, triangles. It's just fun to look at. Okay, back to work. Oh, we've really come far so far in the last half an hour. I mean, there's so much more here than before. And it would be so much easier if I could get more than I'm gonna guess I'm getting a solid 15 frames right now. Oh. It would be much easier if I was getting more than a solid 7 frames to work in. But I'll make do until that graphics card arrives. Oh, there's gaps. Lots of gaps. My gosh, my frames are horrible. I can barely move around. So I'm going to go into unlit mode. But I duplicated that. A bit better. Like that. And we need to bring these rocks up along. Sure. 2. we really are almost there. So let's turn this down to medium. I just want to see. That turns off the lumen and our skylight, which is alright for now. We can turn it back on. But while I work, no, we're turning it back on. I'm just too used. Just look at the difference in quality here. How much better it looks with lumen. Specifically with the trees. They're just flat. Completely flat without it. Okay. And yes, I do have a time frame. Friday. The next video will be up Friday, so I'm do videos Monday and Friday, and I try to do a live stream every Wednesday. I didn't get to it last Wednesday, but every new video comes out Monday and Friday. That is my current schedule. And the next video, if I remember correctly, I work on multiple videos at a time, and I'm pretty sure, let me make sure I'm not going to just repeat something that's already on the channel. If I head over and see what's already up, I'll be able to tell you what the next couple of videos will be. Yep, so the next video is actually going to be the animation modifier, on creating the animation modifier for the to get the distance curves for the root motion animations that we'll be using as in-place animations. There's a way to take root motion animations and use them directly as in-place animations inside of an animation blueprint, but it prevents you from using montages. So for the time being, we'll use them as in-place. I'll have actual in-place animations to sort of bring in and replace them, probably at the end of the series or later on when those are ready. But for now, we can make do with just the root motion. We need the root motion anyway to get the curves generated, and then we can also create a copy curves modifier to move them onto in-place animations. And finally, once we're through with the animation modifier, the video after that, so the Monday video, I think it'll be setting up an animation blueprint. I still sort of have to figure out exactly what I'm going to cover. I don't have the entire project set up. In advance, I'm sort of working week by week, getting stuff done and then recording. And the last session, I really sat down and worked. I got what I thought was enough for a single video. Ended up being enough to cover what might end up being 3 videos in the series of getting from taking us pretty much where we're at to having a character that can walk forward and stop using distance matching. So I'll try to figure out how to divide that up, but that's definitely going to be in the next 2 to 3 videos. The character will be stopping using distance matching. So, and then we'll get our start transitions in our orientation warping, speed warping, uh, um, slope warping, and that stuff. So it's been a bit slow getting started, but it's going to start to go pretty fast. So what I'm going to be, I'm not sure if I completely understand your question. What we're going to be doing with the curve is we are measuring the distance the root bone has traveled to create a distance curve inside the animation. We're then going to use a C++ node that I'll have the code provided for. It's something I found on Unreal Engine forum thread titled Distance Matching, giving it a try. There's people there who've been trying to figure out the distance matching stuff for a while. Tons of useful information there. But someone put up their code for a get curve time function. We're going to be using that so we can input a certain curve value, and for that value, get the time of the animation to play back so that we can use, if you're familiar with the advanced locomotion system, there's those, what are they called? But the nodes that the ALS uses for the poses, where you can give it a certain time. We'll be using that, but with distance matching, and we'll be giving it a time to play the start and stop animations based on that curve. So we're sort of using the curve as a lookup table so we can align the distance that the character capsule is going to travel in the world to the stop position with the distance that the character travels in the animation to the stop location. I definitely explain it better in the actual video, which and that should be the Monday video, I think. Um, yeah, the next video is the animation modifier video, and then after that, we'll be really starting to work towards getting actual distance matching implemented with an animation blueprint and everything. Okay. Okay, that's good. I'm glad I explained it well. I felt like I was rambling a bit there. It's definitely a complicated topic to try to explain sometimes. It's so yeah, the curve, the animation modifier stuff has actually ended up being a bit more complex than I did in the animation modifier video. So the animation modifier video will really have an animation modifier that'll work with the start transition, but then I go and add more vector math onto it. I'll be adding more vector math onto it in the video that I do after that, which I'm actually recording right after the live stream today. Then I'm editing the video that's going to go up Friday today as well and getting that ready to go. So, oh, and I see there's lots of little gaps here. But this one is the one pointing at the camera. So let's just raise this up. Raise this up. And then rotate it around that. And there's another. Oh my gosh. I'm ready to try going in lit mode again. But yeah, my old graphics card does not do well with Unreal Engine 5, as you all can probably see. Well, it does fine with Unreal Engine 5. It doesn't do well with Lumen. And so it gets pretty graphically intensive. I'm above their recommended GPU spec to use with it. Did I say above? I'm below their recommended GPU spec to use. They're recommending at least a 1080, I think. I have a 1050 Ti. For those of you who weren't here or didn't hear me mention it, I got a new graphics card, a RX 6700 XT, but it's not here yet. So when it gets here, um, it'll definitely increase what I'm able to do on the YouTube channel. It was actually my main reason for getting one, really, and not waiting for prices to go down more since they've started to go down, because I was going to do my first live stream playing around in the Unreal Engine 5 demo project, but my computer couldn't handle it. And any intense stuff I do, even this project, just this live stream series look around and everything's blurry and the texture streaming quality is it, I misspoke there, but we're over the texture streaming budget. 4 gigabytes of GPU memory just isn't enough for this anymore. I'm running a 1050 Ti. I might have already answered that though. So now I'm going to begin trying to get some rocks along this shoreline. And I think after the distance matching series is complete, so the distance match, I've been doing lots of locomotion stuff on this channel, the metahuman and ALS stuff with how I started the channel, uh, and I'm probably going to be doing a lot in the future, which is kind of funny because the animation stuff isn't even my favorite part of game development. I enjoy it, but I'm much more of a gameplay or level design environment kind of guy. Anyway, where I'm going with this is that the distance matching series is going to be the first sort of big locomotion series, and I'm going to do, when the full version of Unreal Engine 5 comes out, a second one inside of Unreal Engine 5 where it's taking advantage of all the new UE5 stuff, all the new animation stuff. I debated doing the distance matching one inside of Unreal Engine 5, but since it's in early access, I decided to do it on Unreal Engine 4, but I am going to be lifting the orientation warping, speed warping, and slope warping codes straight from Unreal Engine 5 for the distance matching series when we get to that point. But as far as other series that I've planned, I want to do a short series, probably only maybe 3, 4 videos long, maybe more, I'm not sure, on meta sounds and Unreal Engine 5. I haven't done a lot of work with it yet, which I'll need to before I do that series so that I actually know how to use it. I'm not a sound guy, but I can see that there's a ton of potential there, and just a series trying to break it down and make it as easy as it can as I can make it to understand, I think would definitely be valuable. So I want to do that. All right, thanks, Luke, and yeah, I'll totally listen to your request. Thought I could duplicate this and just sort of place it along here, and but I duplicated. It would work if I did if I went in shorter stretches of rocks. I didn't go in shorter stretches of rocks, which I should have done. So I'm just going to try to get this spot that I'm right next to integrated well. And then I'm going to go unlit. and delete the rocks that are underneath here. But I'm also trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my next live stream series. Since this environment is getting close to completion, I think one more live stream next week and it might be done. So I'm open to suggestions for that as well. Eventually, I'll probably start live streaming actual game development, but that won't be until I get to a point in the development of my game where, because I am developing a game, where I'm ready to actually start live streaming some stuff. Right now, I'm in the planning and writing phase mostly. So, okay, so that's an interesting system. And I'm definitely going to be creating something like it for my game. It's definitely going to have a cover system. Uh, if I can find or make some good animations, I might do a sort of series on that at some point. But feel free, if you're in the Discord, feel free to send me a message and I can talk with you and help you through as much as I can with setting up the system or any issues you encounter trying to figure one out. Yeah, for ALS, yep. Uh, Although I won't be using ALS in my game, I might do a series on something like that. Yeah, I'll definitely do everything I can to help you out in the meantime, over Discord. I'll try to answer any questions you have to the best of my ability. So I'm not going to say much about the game that I want to develop. I'm very much still in the planning phase, but I will say this. Uh, well, actually, let me think about what I'm going to say. Uh, it's going. So I've always believed in video games as a storytelling medium, and that they have a whole lot of potential as a storytelling medium. Um, every medium for telling a story has an advantage, a specific advantage it has over other mediums. Movies, video games do a lot, pull a lot from movies, from cinema. Have the advantage of being able to show you things you could only read and try to envision in your head. It's easier to emphasize within actor's performance. While a book, for example, there's no budget restriction, there's no big CGI budget. You can read the thoughts that are happening inside a character's head, get a better understanding of a character, maybe. Video games, their big thing is interaction. And I think any story is at its best when it's using the capabilities that its chosen medium has as much as it can use. So the best movie is doing as much. The best, the great movies will have great stories, but also great visuals. Um, Great books, well, they'll just try to. Lots of great books are super imaginative, and some of the most remembered books created fantastic, immersive worlds that at the time no one could have done with film. With video games, there are lots of great, enjoyable games that follow this sort of here's gameplay, here's a cutscene with story, here's more gameplay, and sometimes they'll mix in some story in the gameplay. The first Last of Us is a favorite game of mine. A great game, definitely worth the play. I wouldn't say the same about the second one, but and it had a great story. But the story didn't have to be told through a video game either. There wasn't a lot of interactivity there, and I'll enjoy a good video game that doesn't have an interactive story. But I feel like the best stories that can be told by video games are the stories that are interactive. And so there's RPG games out there where you can make choices and go down paths. Some of them do a good job of it. A lot of them don't really have consequences. You'll go down a bunch of different paths and ended up in the same spot. So I'm making what's essentially, I'm not going to say much about the world that it's in, but a somewhat open world game, not a super big world. It takes place inside of a single city with a storyline with lots of branches. And so I'm just going to say this. I will tell you all what the original idea was. The original idea was it changed a lot actually to a single player, mostly single player game. The original idea was sort of like a Hitman multiplayer game where kind of like a battle royale, but except it's just bounties. Each time you kill someone, the bounty goes up and people can get more points essentially by killing you, and the goal is just to get to the top of the leaderboard. And it just grew from there and changed into something completely different. And when I'm ready to share more information on it, I will very happily do so. And I'll be creating a second channel to sort of have some devlogs and other things just called Outcast Games, and that'll be, of course, you'll be able to get to that from the Outcast Dev School channel once I create that channel. But that's still a good month or 2 to 3 to 4 months away from being ready to show a single devlog. Because this game has changed a lot in my mind so far, and it probably is going to still change some. But I will say that for the world, I'm taking lots of inspiration from, as far as thematically and visually things go, lots of inspiration from both Blade Runner films, and there's a very prevalent criminal underworld similar to the criminal underworld in the John Wick movies. So it's sort of a marrying together of those two things for the world, but there's a lot more there too. But think the criminal underworld of John Wick inside a world that's stylistically similar and resemblant of the Blade Runner film, specifically Blade Runner 2049. It was a great looking movie, I think. Fantastic movie overall, really. It's one of the few sequels to any film that matches or is even better than the original film. I think Blade Runner 2049 is an example of that. So it's a sort of dystopian, somewhat sci-fi, kind of cyberpunk world that this game is going to take place in. Very different than our mountainous pine forest environment here. Okay, so I think we have most of this shore done here. I think we can move on to the shore on this side. And I might pull this entire. I'm going to add the shore. It's going to make the river really narrow. So I'm going to pull this entire section over and away a bit, but I think that might be after I make the shore. Because the shore is going to be right around in here. And actually, no, I don't know if we really need much of a shore on this side. It's more of a the river's flowing down and around, and it's sort of eroding away here. There's not going to be much of a beach. Oh, I mean, it's more of just some rocks and pebbles than a beach. Technically a beach, I guess. And there is here, so I think I might just go straight to doing a river. And but that'll take some more preparation. I'll have to get some more stuff moved into this project specifically. So that'll probably be the next episode. And probably what will be the final episode of this live stream series. So I might end this live stream soon here because there's not too much more to do. I think I'd rather want to get the river running through here before I try to really finalize this side. So environment has definitely come a whole lot further. I think I will end it out here. Since I did not anticipate getting this far and coming to a point where I can't go much further without more preparation. So hopefully I'll have the new graphics card by the next stream, because if for some reason it takes a while to ship, then we'll be doing another stream after that, because I don't think I definitely don't want to finish this environment and not be able to see it in all its detail. So we might try to get the river worked out in the next stream, and then if there's time, work on things like post-processing, clouds in the sky, uh, maybe some smaller details. Because you can always add more detail to a scene like this. Like these rocks where they intersect with the pebbles, might be some larger rocks here, but I think it's good enough that I don't really have to worry about that in the scene. Uh, so yeah, I think I'm gonna end this one out here. All right, thanks, Luke. You definitely will hear more about the game that I'm going to be making in the future. I definitely don't intend to keep it quiet forever. I want to make sure it sells well enough people can get their hands on it when it does come out, and that'll be a long time from now. It could take anywhere from a year to 2 to 3 years to make. It's definitely not a one-man project either, so I'll eventually have to put together something of a little team to work on it as well. But yeah, you'll definitely hear more about it in the future as things get further than. Okay, so actually, I can show you one thing, and it's actually my other channel. It's not really a channel. I'll link it here because it's a channel where I've put up some videos of little tests. Some are just 30 seconds long, others are 2 minutes inside of Unreal Engine 4, playing around with things, showing things off, uh, things I figured out and wanted to record and keep somewhere so I could go back and see them. It's not a channel I'd set up to try to grow. But if I try to find myself here, I somehow managed to get 5 subscribers to that. Of course, I'm gonna have a very hard time finding myself on YouTube, my other channel. I don't think I can log out. That might mess with my stream. Here we go. That's easier than I thought. But there's specifically a ballistic physics test. Number 1. There has not been a number 2 yet. From a prototype. And I can link that, and that's as much as anyone will see of the game I'm working on for a while. And the game's going to be third person. It was going to be first person to begin with, so things have already changed a lot. But here is the link to that. Something went wrong. Okay, I'm not sure if I accidentally... Okay, no, the stream's still going. Okay. But if I... Okay, that link doesn't seem to be working. I'll link it in the Discord channel. Discord server, general channel. And I do not want to type this message out with caps lock on.
Hey, video creators. With Envato Elements, you can create better.
I apologize for that. Came out of nowhere. I had that video open in another tab. All right, so that's linked in the Discord, so you can see it. It'll be a little sneak peek at what's not to come because it's going to be third person, but there will be some good ballistic physics in the game. That's for sure. Because I want to have good gameplay and good story, good overall everything in it. So I'm going to end out this live stream here. We'll get a river in on the next live stream and try to finish things up. And I'll have the next video in the distance matching series up this Friday, so a couple days from now. And thank you all for sticking with me throughout the live stream, and I look forward to talking with you guys in the live stream next week.